Mr. Gearing is here. Are you
Yes,
here for Mr. Ariano on Penner by chance?
I am not.
Okay, what case are you here for?
I'm here on Vargas, Your Honor.
Very well, let's take that up. We are on the record in 2022 TR 1746, State of Kansas versus Richard Enrique Rafael Vargas. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
May it please the court, Ryan Gang for Mr. Vargas.
Mr. Vargas, are you here in person as well?
I think he just ran, this is just a registration ticket, Your Honor, and he's gotten his registration corrected. So he was going to get me a picture sent over. He might be working on doing that. I don't know what Mr. Regier's position on that, assuming he's gotten that fixed. I mean, a lot of times it just gets dismissed, but I don't know what his position is.
I'm not sure what your position is either, if you require those to be diverted or if you dismiss, or if you still set them for trial.
Your Honor, with all due respect, notwithstanding the allegations by counsel, I myself have not seen any information as to that. If the court wants to set this over one final time, I do not believe my office would have any objection.
Why don't we, Your Honor, just kick me down the docket just a tiny bit and I'll email this over to Jared and hopefully we can.
I would prefer that, as this ticket was incurred on April 28th of 2022. So if we could resolve it today, I would rather do that than keep paying it, but
I will let you know when I've gotten that sent over to Jared.
all right, we'll take a recess. And then I saw another defense counsel, I thought. Wasn't there someone else here? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there another attorney here besides the one that was just on? Okay, well, let's move on then. We'll be on the record in 2019 TR 1334, State of Kansas versus Michael Douglas Alberts. Jared Regier for the state. Mr. Alberts, are you here?
Yeah, Judge, we got him here at the Solid Port.
All right, would you bring him on, please? Okay, you need to mute the person that's talking so that we don't hear the conversation.
Is that me? What's that bell sound?
All right, is that you, Mr. Alberts?
Yes, it is.
It looks like on September 30th of 2022, you failed to appear.
Oh,
Okay, guys, you're gonna have to mute. I'm hearing several of you that aren't in this hearing. Sir, on September 30th, 2022, it looks like you failed to appear before Judge Crum on a warrant to show cause. No, you were here, I'm sorry.
Your Honor, if I may.
You may, it looks like you showed up late. Go ahead,
Here
counsel.
we go.
Your Honor, based off my notes, it looks like the matter was previously before Judge Crum back in September of 2022. I do have a journal entry in the file. It would appear to be from specifically a hearing date on September 30th of 2022. More recently, I am showing that a request for revocation of probation was filed with the court, looks like back in August of 2023, and I do have a bond in the file for today's date and time, January 24th at 9 a.m.
So it looks like what we need to do is reset this in front of Judge Crum, don't we, for the warrant, second warrant to show cause, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, I am showing this is the, based off my notes, it would appear that this is the first warrant to show cause since the sentencing hearing back in September of 2022. It does appear that at least at some point, this matter was before Your Honor back in June of 2021 with most other hearings before Judge Crum, but I am also showing that based off of the journal entry of misdemeanor conviction and sentencing, looks like the court found the defendant guilty of count 1, second driving license suspender, cancel a class A non-person misdemeanor.
All right, so Judge Crum did the plea and sentencing, but because it's a misdemeanor, it's back before me. First appearance warrant to show cause. Is that basically what you just told me, Mr. Regier?
Hello?
Your notes have more in it than mine do because mine aren't up to date. I don't
Is he
believe.
frozen?
The last thing I see is that September 30th, 22.
Your Honor, the bond does specifically set it for today's date and time at 9 a.m. However, it would also appear that in the that at least one of the more recent documents does appear to be signed by Judge Crum. So I might respectfully defer to the court's top wishes to proceed at this time in light of all that.
Well, let's first of all see what Mr. Alberts has to say as far as the allegations. Mr. Albers, as you've been hearing us talk, you were sentenced of driving while suspended after prior conviction, a Class A misdemeanor in September 2 years ago, 2022. And you had Darren Patterson, it looks like, as your attorney at the time. Since then, the state has requested revocation of your probation. They are alleging that you violated that probation that Judge Crum put you on. And I can give you the specific allegations, which I will do at this time. The warrant to show cause was filed August 29 of 2023, alleging that you did not report as directed to probation. Your probation officer, Christine Donovan, therefore asked for revocation. Now, you have the right to challenge this allegation. You can deny that you failed to report and consequently failed to comply with your probation. Burden would be on the state to present evidence, if it can, to show that you did violate. You do have the right to an attorney if you so wish. So at this time, do you wish to have an attorney?
Yeah,
All right. So you're denying the allegations, it sounds like, or you want to talk to an attorney before you admit or deny the allegations?
that's right.
I'm sorry, that was a
Yes.
question.
Oh,
Do you want to talk to an attorney before you admit or
yes.
deny? All right, are you going to hire an attorney?
Right now I don't have money to.
You're not working right now?
I am, but I'm not getting that many hours in.
Where do you work?
I work for a private individual.
And who is that?
I'm Darren Johnson,
You work for Darren Johnson, and where is he located?
and Howard.
Howard?
Yeah,
What kind of
or
work?
Andale. I'm sorry, Your Honor, Andale.
Where is it?
Andale, Kansas. Yes.
There's quite a difference between Andale and Howard.
Yeah,
How is it you don't know for sure what town that you work in?
because I don't actually work in the town. That's where he lives.
Okay, where do you work?
I work at a shop. He's got a small shop down on Broadway.
In Wichita?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what did Howard have to do with it? Nothing?
Nothing.
Where do you live? Do you live in Howard?
No, I live in Wichita.
All right, so you work for a private individual named Darren Johnson in his shop in Wichita, though he lives in Andale. And what kind of work do you do?
I'm an automotive technician.
You're an automotive technician, so is that full-time,
Yes, Your Honor.
40 hours a week?
As much as I can, yes, Your Honor.
What do you make per month from Mr. Johnson?
About 400 a week,
Okay, about 1,600. How long have you worked there?
about 5 years now.
5 years? And you make about 1,600 a month?
Yeah, I mean, since hours slowed down a little less than that, yes.
What do you typically report on your federal tax return as the income from Mr. Johnson?
Anywhere from 18,000 a year.
All right, are you married or single?
I'm divorced.
Do you have any children, minor children that you
That would
legally
be single.
support?
Yes, I do.
How many?
One.
And do you pay child support?
No, I don't.
Does the child live with you?
Excuse me, Your Honor?
Does the child live with you?
Yes, it does, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. So a family of two, and do you pay rent or a mortgage?
Right.
How much a month?
400.
400, and do you pay utilities?
No, utilities are included with it. Your Honor.
Do
Holy
you have any other
Toledo.
expenses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
400 and utilities are
So
included?
for a family of two, at the amount you're giving me, I will appoint
Darren
Attorney
Patterson.
Darren Patterson for this
Boom.
warrant to show cause. And I believe we can. Do we set this, Savannah, Mr. Regier, do we set this on Judge Lee's docket or do I keep it on mine?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
upon further review of the file, this may offer some explanation as far as the prior happenings before Judge Crum are concerned. I am showing that the information appears to have been signed by Your Honor. I'm not sure if that affects this matter currently before the court or not.
So I figure I'll just keep it since it's a misdemeanor unless we put this on. If we don't put it on Judge Lee's docket, then let's put it on a 130 Savannah, one of my 130 dockets, my traffic trial dockets. He is on bond, so we probably should put it on mine, I'm thinking.
You literally couldn't get a parking
Okay.
space in Chicago for
My
400
next 130 is gonna be March the 13th.
Hmm.
Judge Lee's February 16th.
Well, it's a show cause, so I hate to delay it so long. You said March what?
13th,
I never know if I can put those on Judge Lee's or not. So I'm going to set this, Mr. Alberts, for revocation, March 13th at 1:30. Excuse me. In the meantime, you go from where you are right now to the probation office and ask for Christine Donovan and ask her what she wants you to do between now and that warrant to show cause hearing. Then when you're finished there, go across the street to Mr. Patterson's office and give him your contact information and your court date. If you don't do those two things, I'm going to find that that's further violation of probation.
Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else we need to address? Do we don't have to worry about a bond. I think he's already posted that.
Your Honor, the bond that I have in file would appear to be a 2,000 professional surety bond. It is a somewhat unusual format, but in any event, if the court is continuing the defendant under the same, I don't believe my office does anything else at this time.
All right, thank you. Then we'll be in recess. Mr. Alberts, please just go and follow up on my instructions.
That was a reference
Thank you,
to
sir.
last
Judge,
night's stream.
I have 4 more at the Salad Port.
Go
If you
ahead.
haven't seen it, you should.
Okay, I have Carly Meyer sitting here ready to roll.
Come on, Carly, let's roll. I'm here. I'm just not going to cover up Regier. Regier's the star of this show.
We're on the record in 2022, TR 4156, State of Kansas versus Carly K. Meyer. Jared Regier for the state. The defendant, Ms. Meyer, appears in person and pro se.
John Frazier has his best overalls for the occasion.
Ms. Meyer, you were set on the traffic docket January 25th of 2023, a year ago tomorrow, and you weren't here. Then we set it over to April 19th and you failed to appear. We issued a bench warrant. Then July 26th of 23, you were present and said you would like to apply for diversion. So we set the matter over to October 25th at 23. And Mr. Regier, I have no more notes after that because of the computer crash. So what happened after October, if you can tell me?
Your Honor, my understanding is that at the October hearing, the matter was continued to today's date and time, where the defendant did appear as she does today. I am showing that more recently a diversion application was received, but subsequently denied by my office.
Very well, Ms. Meyer, you're not eligible for diversion. That leaves you with your charges of violating or driving without proper tag or registration. Is the insurance charge still pending, Mr. Regier? That hasn't been dismissed, has it?
Your Honor, I am not showing any amended information have been filed in this case based off my records.
All right, so Ms. Meyer, you're looking at count one, the misdemeanor, unclassified misdemeanor registration, and count two, the more serious charge of driving without insurance, a B misdemeanor. Now, you've had this case open for a year and never applied for an attorney. Are you planning to represent yourself then? I can't hear if
I
she's,
would like to apply for a court-appointed attorney,
why didn't you do that a year ago?
because I was going to see if I could get on diversion.
And why didn't you do that a year ago?
Because I've recently lost my spouse, so I've been going through stuff, trying to figure stuff out on my own because I haven't really adulted much on my own.
All right, so your spouse passed away when?
In September 22nd, or September of 2022, sorry.
All right, and how old are you?
I just turned 21.
All right, do you work or have any income?
Yeah.
Okay, where do you work?
I'm currently trying to get a job at Dillon's, and I was working at Genesis Health Club.
But do you have a job as we speak? Do you have a
Not
job?
as we speak, no.
No, and how are you surviving?
She sells burritos sometimes.
Someone supporting you or providing room and board at least?
Yeah. Somebody
Okay.
is letting me stay with them.
Okay. Is that a family member?
No, it's just close friends.
Okay, so you don't have any income, someone else is totally supporting you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long has that been your circumstance?
Since like December 2023.
All right, I'm going to appoint Attorney Darren Patterson, and the officer can give you his address. As soon as this hearing is over, you go to Mr. Patterson's office, and you'll need to reappear. When is the date, Ashley?
It is April the 8th.
You must be back here April the 8th at 8 a.m. You have to have talked to Mr. Patterson before that date. And be ready to go, because this case is 2 years old and I don't want it to get much older than that.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now she's on bond, Mr. Regier, is that right?
Your Honor, the bond I have in my file appears to have been executed back in May of 2023. Looks to be 1,000 professional surety for an appearance date for a July 26, 2023 hearing.
Is that the $1,000 one with hot rod?
That's the one I have in my file, Your Honor.
Okay, but I thought she hasn't failed to appear since then. I thought she had.
One moment, Your Honor.
Doesn't look like it, but yeah, if you want to verify. Seems odd that I'm not the one verifying with the official.
Have you ever had a failure to appear?
In this matter, I am showing one prior failure to appear that would appear to have occurred back in April of last year.
Prior to the bond. All right, so Ms. Meyer, I'm going to continue the bond you're on with the condition that you go and see Mr. Patterson after this hearing and give him your contact information. Tell his staff that this case is 2 years old and I'd like for you to meet with him before court. And make sure then the other condition is that you reappear at 8 a.m. April 8th. And I want you to appear at the Sally Port again. What town are you living in?
Whitewater.
Whitewater, okay.
Currently staying with a friend outside of Towanda.
Okay, but you're not too far from El Dorado.
You get to see the
Make
Sally
sure
Port
that you
stash.
either are legally licensed. Make sure you are either legally licensed or having someone drive you, and make sure that the vehicle you come over in has insurance and tags on it, because you don't need any more problems. Do you have children, Miss Meyer?
Yes, ma'am.
You said yes? How many?
2.
Two? Okay. Did you drive over today?
No, I had somebody bring me over.
Good, good. That's the right answer. Okay. So do you have any questions? If you fail to appear on me again, I'll probably just order you be held without bond until we resolve this case. So do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, very well. Hopefully you can get this put behind you soon. If there's nothing further, we'll be in recess.
Have Rebecca Marvin, Judge, Rebecca Marvin.
All right, thank you. We are on the record in 2022 TR 4156, State of Kansas versus Rebecca Ann Marvin. Jared Regier for the state. The defendant, Ms. Marvin, appears in person and pro se. Ms. Marvin, you are here on one charge of operating a motor vehicle without a license. This is a B, non-person misdemeanor. If you were to be convicted, you could pay a fine up to $1,000 and be issued a 6-month jail sentence, although probation is an option. Looks like we went over that with you in October. And you were going to apply for diversion, and I don't know if you did that. Can you tell me?
I did. I started it. I'm just waiting for my payday. My payday is on Friday, and then I can get the $100 money order, and I already have the paperwork filled out. It's just that finances have been tight since I started my new job.
Okay, so 4 months ago, you said you were going to apply. Have you applied or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've turned in your application. Did they approve you?
Yeah. As far as I know, yes. And I had I did the $50, and then I did what they asked me to do. And then there was another payment, and then a paperwork that I had to fill out. And the other payment was for $100. And I just didn't have the $100 right now. I just don't have it.
So,
Chris.
Mr. Regier, it sounds like she was approved and has the contract waiting. Is that right?
Your Honor, that would appear to be at least somewhat reflected by my notes. If the court wants to set this over one more time for that specific purpose, I don't think my office would have any objection.
All right, we'll set this over one more time, but let's get it finished. When, Ashley, for diversion review, do you want her to come back?
Calendar here. We could probably squeeze her in 3 weeks on the 14th.
Will that give you enough time to get that paid?
Oh, I plan on having it paid Friday or
Okay.
Monday.
Well,
So yes.
James Watts
All right,
gets the
so we're gonna
felonies.
put this for review on the Valentine's docket. You said February 14th, Ashley,
Yes.
at 9 a.m., but hopefully you won't have to see me. Hopefully you'll get that paid and get diverted and not have to come back, okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Good luck to you.
And Your Honor,
Yes, Mr. Regier.
2 final matters is the
Do we have a glitch?
Your Honor, is the court continuing the defendant on on the bond, and also I would have it noted for the record that if some major headway is not made in this case, I will reserve all my rights and make appropriate recommendations at that time at the next hearing.
Thank you. Yes, I will continue the defendant on her $500 OR bond. And I think what he's telling us, Ms. Marvin, is if you don't have it by then, he may change the offer or something like that.
Okay,
All right. Thank you. You may
I
go.
love that.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge Webb's tried to translate for him. I was thinking the same thing. The defendant didn't understand.
Daniel Moriarty.
We're on the record in 2024, TR 000234, State of Kansas versus Daniel Moriarty. Jared Regier for the state, the defendant, Mr. Moriarty, in person and pro se. Mr. Moriarty, it looks like this is the first time you've been here for court. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, well, sir, you're here on one count of driving while your license was suspended after a prior conviction in Wichita Municipal Court on November 23rd, 2004. The prior conviction, even though some time ago, elevates this from a B to an A misdemeanor. That means your fine, if convicted, could be up to $2,500. It also means your sentence could be up to a year in the county jail. And significantly, you might want to note that there is a mandatory must serve 5 days in jail on this. So do you want to talk to an attorney before you decide how you want to plead since there's mandatory jail?
Yes, actually, my attorney's Darren Patterson, and I think you just joined us.
All right, Mr. Patterson, are you here for Mr. Moriarty?
Yes, Your Honor, I have been retained. I apologize for being late. I had another hearing to do with Judge Satterfield. We completed that just now.
Okay.
Judge, we are at this time entering plea of not guilty. Request me set for a misdemeanor control date on a Monday morning.
All right. I
Darren
trust there's
Patterson.
no objection to that, Mr. Regier?
Retained, actual paying client.
That did not sound like Mr. Regier's voice.
Oh,
In any event, I'm not hearing any objections. So Ashley, what date?
What's
April
going on
8th.
here?
All right. Mr. Moriarty, you'll need to be back here April 8th at 8 a.m. by Zoom. And let's see, he hasn't been processed yet, has he, Mr. Patterson, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, if I may speak, I am showing 500 cash bond in the file with all standard conditions, including no violations of the law. If the court is prepared to continue the defendant under the same, I don't think my office has anything further at this time.
I will continue Mr. Moriarty under his bond with the conditions that he make himself available to his attorney as directed by the attorney, and that he reappear April 8th at 8 a.m. Anything else, Mr. Patterson, that we should address?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else on the docket for you, Mr. Patterson, that you're aware of?
That was the only one I was aware of, Judge.
Okay. And Mr. Moriarty is excused, and Mr. Patterson is excused.
You got
Thank
some
you.
new ones,
Have a good
Darren.
day. Thank you.
Thank you, you too.
Very exciting.
And who is this gentleman, deputy?
I have David Flores.
We are on the record in 2023, TR 2490, State of Kansas versus David Contreras Flores. Is that you, sir?
yes.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
18, so you're a legal adult.
Oh,
Although the Kansas law would have recognized you as an adult for traffic purposes because you did submit and commit yourself to adult activities, therefore adult consequences. Let's see, Mr. Flores, you are charged, sir, in speeding 91 miles per hour in a 65. This is a traffic infraction, so it does not carry any jail time. But there is, if you were to be convicted, a schedule fine for 91 in a 65, which is $159
Ah, I
plus
feel
one
bad
hundred and
for
eight
him.
dollars in court costs. Now in count 2, you're accused of operating a motor vehicle without a license.
He's a kid doing dumb kid things, but it's dangerous.
That
You
is
gotta
a
stop it.
B misdemeanor crime. It carries up to 6 months possible jail sentence and $1,000 fine. Let's see, we would probably on that speed. Miss, do you intend to apply for diversion or set this for trial?
Your Honor,
Mr. Regier?
with all due respect, based off my review of the case, this defendant would not qualify for diversion.
All right, so diversion is not an option.
Stone cold
Uh,
Regier.
Are you going
Can't
to
help you. Sorry.
hire an attorney or apply for court appointed or represent yourself?
I tried to call a couple places, but they wouldn't take my minor case, or they were just too booked.
All right, so are you a student or do you have a job?
I have a job,
Where you work?
a mechanic with my dad.
Say that again, please. A
As a
mechanic?
mechanic with my dad.
So does your dad have a professional shop or what?
Yeah, he has his own company.
Okay, where's his company?
He does it, I don't know the exact address of it, so I just be going there to work.
What town is it?
It's by downtown.
Downtown Wichita?
Yeah.
And is that where you live, is Wichita?
I live in Wichita.
Do you have a high school diploma?
No. I was doing I forgot what it's called, GED.
Why did you quit doing that?
I started working
Well,
because I didn't have a car.
because since he can't even name what it
You
is.
don't have a license according to this charge.
I have a license now.
Poor kid.
Well, I'm going to appoint Darren Patterson to represent you and go over to his office and get set up with him. Your next court date, when are we going to set this, Ashley?
April 8th.
April 8th at 8 a.m. You have to be back here April 8th at 8 a.m. by Zoom.
All right. Is Austin
And
smoking
you
down
need
there?
to talk to Darren Patterson and tell
the
him how
bottom?
he can reach you. And you need to get a bond. Picture and prints. I'm gonna set his bond at 1,000 OR because I don't think he's done that yet, has he, Deputy?
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes?
my notes would appear to suggest that this is the second hearing in this matter.
Oh, okay. That,
I am
yes,
showing,
yes.
I am showing that
You're right.
the court at least did address those particular issues at the last hearing.
Okay, so he must have, yeah, I see a jail admission form, but did he go out and get processed? Can you tell, Deputy?
Well,
Oh no, I got busy Monday because I wanted the same day, but then I forgot and I got busy with work Monday.
you did-
No, I
you
got
didn't
busy.
go out there?
No, I got busy.
How about we throw you in
You
jail?
got busy.
Did that open your time up?
No.
Apparently he didn't.
So he got busy and didn't get around to doing what the
Yeah,
court.
I got busy with work. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr.
That same day I
Flores.
wanted to come, but they were like busy and I couldn't that same day.
So they gave you an appointment, you went, and they were too busy for you.
No, that same day, but they told me a couple hours, right? I have to wait a couple hours in town.
Who are you talking to there?
Oh no, the
Who's
officer.
that with you?
Nobody went with me. But the officer gave me a letter saying that I have to go there Monday, but I wanted to go that same day, but they told me they were going to be busy, so I have to wait a couple of minutes or hour in town.
All right, so what's going on here, Deputy Caulfield? Did he get
Apparently
it or not?
he did not get his fingerprints and picture taken, right?
Yeah.
So he
It was
needs,
I
we need to resend him, I guess.
Okay, Mr. Flores, you're only 18 years old and you're off to a rocky start in life, and I'd suggest you kind of re-inventory your life and priorities. If you don't get your diploma, you're setting yourself up for a very limited lifestyle. So just as an aside, I would urge you to get back in school. But what I am going to order is that you go out there when that officer tells you to, and you get your picture and prints taken, or you can just go in jail and stay in jail until this case is resolved. Because when I order something, I'm ordering it. You have to do it or there will be consequences. And I'm going to give you one free pass that I don't normally do and I don't have to do, and that is I won't put you in jail right now, even though you violated my last order. So get out there when the officer tells you to, get your picture and prints taken, and you sign a $1,000 OR bond that will compel you to reappear April 8th at 8 a.m. Do you have any questions about that, sir?
No.
And then you were allegedly driving without a license and speeding 91 and a 65. So I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond to violate no laws and do not be driving unless you have a valid license and your car is licensed and tagged. And even then, if you're driving, don't be speeding. You follow the rules of the road. Are we
Yes,
clear
ma'am.
on all of that?
Yes.
Okay. I don't care how busy you get next time, don't violate the court orders.
Yeah, sorry about that, ma'am.
All right, well, thank you for saying that. Now prove to me you mean it. And
Sorry
we'll be
about
in
that,
recess
man.
at this time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Deputy, did you have another one?
No, that's all we have here now, for now, Judge.
All right, thank you. Let me know if anyone else comes. Let's take up, is it Caden Spall?
Yes, ma'am.
We're on the record in 2023 TR 2424, State of Kansas versus Caden Spall. Jared Regier for the state, defendant Caden Spall in person and pro se. Mr. Spall, you had a hearing date October 18th of 2023. You were told to go out and get your picture and prints and sign a bond. Did you do it?
Yes.
Good for you. Now then, you were going to provide proof of insurance to the county attorney and get this charge perhaps dismissed. Did you give them proof?
Yes.
Mr. Regier, did you get that proof?
Buffering.
Your Honor, my office does appear to be in receipt of a document of some kind. I would note for purposes of the record that the information filed back in July does appear to include one count of no proof of insurance, a Class B non-person misdemeanor, and an amended information has not been filed in this matter.
Do you intend for one to be? Do you move to amend, or do we need to set this over and give you more time to sort through that?
Your Honor, at this point, the state is prepared to proceed on count one as charged.
Okay, so Mr. Spall, you better get back with them and see if they've confirmed that you did have insurance. At this time, he's not able to do that. So we're going to give you another court date. Ashley?
I think Spall did it.
Are you wanting a Wednesday?
He is one of the most reasonable defendants I've ever seen.
That's fine.
May 1st?
Oh, my goodness. May 1st, 9 a.m. Now, I am hoping that you will take this into your hands and make sure that the county attorney has what they need. And that if they dismiss that before then, you won't have to be here.
I have a question. So after I went and got, excuse me, after I went and got my fingerprints taken and my picture taken, I had went to the county district office and I gave them my old policy card that I could find. I had to print it off, and I also gave them my new insurance. So I'm just confused on how come it's not here today, or.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that, and apparently Mr. Regier doesn't know the answer. That's why I say take it upon yourself to contact that office and find out if it made its way to Mr. Regier or not.
Okay, yeah, I'll shoot some phone calls. But yeah, other than that, nothing else.
if you had insurance at the
Okay,
time you were allegedly driving, April 13th, 2023, and you can prove that, like I said, they usually will dismiss that charge. So make sure that the paperwork gets to the right person in the office.
He either did
Right.
it,
I hope so. They
he's a
took copies
fantastic
of it and
liar.
everything like that. So
Okay,
think it's the
Mr.
first.
Regier, do you have any follow-up information on anything else he should do to make sure that that information gets to you?
Your Honor, with all due respect, in my capacity as prosecutor, I do not represent the defendant in these proceedings.
Sure.
However, as the court is well aware, my office can be reached at the office telephone number of 316-321-6999.
Jeez.
Thank you, Mr. Regier. So did you get that number?
Insurance ticket.
I'm sorry.
316-321.
Jared, lighten up.
6999. And you basically just need to make sure that that paperwork is viewed by the attorney. And as Mr.
Good
Regier
Lord.
said, that he doesn't represent you. He doesn't have to dismiss it. And you're always welcome to get an attorney if you need to, but I understood you were thinking that maybe you could get this dismissed without one. But if you get to the point where you feel like, hey, this isn't working the way I think it should, you can always either hire an attorney or apply for court appointed if you need to.
Okay.
But hopefully you'll get it worked out if you had insurance at the time, so you won't have to spend that kind of time and resources.
Right.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I will continue your bond again with the condition that you reappear April 8th at 8 a.m.
April 8th.
Is that, no, May 1st. You said May 1st, didn't you, Missy?
Correct.
This looks
Ashley?
personal.
Okay.
Yes.
May 1st at 9 a.m. All right,
I
thank
think
you,
Caden
Mr.
stole
Stoll. Your
Regier's girlfriend
excuse.
at some point.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Which, let's be honest. You're taking candy from a
We're
baby.
going to take up Mr. Brewer on the record in 2023 TR 1228, State of Kansas versus William Thomas Brewer. Jared Regier for the state. Mr. Brewer, are you here? Mr. Brewer? Well, he had failed to appear before. As of June 6, 23, Mr. Patterson had had no contact with him. First appearance dating back to April 5th. So apparently he was picked up on his June 6th bench warrant. Must have made bond.
Your Honor, if I may,
Please.
I am showing at the last hearing back in June of 2023, it would appear that Mr. Patterson did appear at that hearing, although the defendant did not, and the court entered its orders accordingly. I am showing a professional surety appearance bond in the file. It looks to you for the sum of $1,000, and I am showing that it does include an appearance date of today's date, January 24th of 2024 at 9 a.m. I'm not quite sure what the court wants to do at this point in light of Mr. Patterson's apparent absence, although it would appear that he did appear earlier on today's docket.
Right. Did Mr. Brewer by chance just enter? I'm still looking for William Thomas Brewer, about ready to issue a warrant. So if you're here, speak now.
It wouldn't appear. He appeared earlier, and we all know it.
All right.
My name is Alexandria Rodriguez, and I had a medical emergency this morning. So I'm just now
Okay,
trying to.
hold on. You're in the middle of someone else's hearing. Can you just wait? Thank you. Well, William Thomas Brewer fails to appear again. Recommendations, looks like. Okay, second failure to appear, Mr. Regier.
Bench warrant. Come on.
Your Honor, I think in this particular instance, I'll defer to the court's how it wishes to proceed. Again, I am somewhat hesitant to do too much, given that Mr. Patterson does not appear. Although we did, as I understand, it did previously appear on today's document. It looks like Mr. Patterson was present for the last two hearings, but it looks like the defendant did fail to appear at both those hearings in June of 2023 and earlier this week on the 22nd.
Well, I would believe that Mr. Patterson probably just didn't get notice of this hearing. I am going to issue a bond forfeiture bench warrant with new bonds set at 2,000 cash or surety. And if there's nothing further, we'll be in recess on Brewer. On the record now in 2023 TR 1994, State of Kansas versus Evelyn K. Brown. Jared Regier for the state. Evelyn Brown, are you present? Evelyn Brown. Evelyn Brown fails to appear. Looks like we have service. Looks like she was here November 1st and was going to apply for diversion. Is there any chance she's been diverted, Mr. Regier?
One moment, Your Honor.
By the way, I saw someone vaping a while ago. We don't smoke, we don't vape in court.
Your Honor, based off my notes, I am showing that this matter was previously before the court back in November. More recently, based off my notes, it would appear that a diversion agreement was filed with the court in very close proximity to today's hearing.
So are you moving to remove this from the docket due to that diversion, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, under these circumstances, the state would respectfully suggest that would be the most appropriate manner forward.
Very well, this docket, or this matter is removed from this docket with the notation that the defendant has been diverted. And we'll be in recess on Brown. We'll now take up Brunel on the record in 2023 TR 2387, State of Kansas versus Alex Robert Brunel. Jared Regier for the state. Mr. Brunel, are you here?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Mr. Brunel, you've had about 3 hearings. July 19th, you were going to apply for diversion. That was July 9th of 2023. October 18th, you still hadn't applied, but told me you were going to. And so what are you doing today?
I had not applied. I had spoke to my aunt and she talked about possibly just paying off all my tickets and getting my license to clear this all up. She has just recently helped me get the money to do so.
Okay, you're looking at driving while suspended, so she was helping you clear up whatever got you suspended, maybe?
Yes, she and one of my friends have just given me the money to help out with my tickets.
What about this charge? What do you want to do with it? You don't want to divert it anymore? Which may not even be an option as old as this case is. It's almost a year old.
She was telling me that if I did pay off my tickets, then it would just clear it up and I didn't have to do that. No.
Well, if your aunt's an attorney, she's not in agreement with the way I the law.
No, she's not an attorney. She was a sheriff and she was just giving me some advice on that.
Well,
so
do you want an attorney or do you want to look into the diversion? Because just because you take care of what may have gotten you suspended does not make your driving while suspended automatically go away.
A lot of them are good.
Okay.
That puts you in a lot better position.
Both Watson and Patterson are excellent in my
your case.
estimation.
So I think your aunt was headed in the right direction, but it's somewhere there was a disconnect on at least the way I interpret the law. So
okay. Then yeah, I might as well just go ahead and apply for that diversion. That's on me. I was just taking her advice and I thought it was a good idea.
He's good.
okay, Mr. Regier, do you want to give him another chance at diversion, or since July 19th, is that too long?
Your Honor, at this time, I don't have any notes one way or the other. I would note for the purpose of the record, if the court does set this matter over one final time, I will reserve all my rights and make appropriate recommendations at the next hearing, if that is indeed the court's order.
All right, so I don't know if you're eligible still this late into it or not, but I'll give you one more chance to apply, but don't poke around on it because this case is just too old for this.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are we gonna set that over to, did you say May 1st? Is that our next date? Or do you,
Yes, it is.
do you have any place to squeeze him in to see if he really goes?
I was just trying to look here. I could maybe do February 21st.
All right, February 21st, Mr. Brunel, 9 a.m.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know, as I said, if the state will give you another shot at diversion, but I'm sure not going to continue it again for that reason. But maybe if you really do have your license reinstated, they might take consideration. I just don't know. That's up to them. But you must be back here February 21st at 9 a.m. unless you've got this diverted.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. If you need an attorney, as I've told you before, you can apply if you need one.
Yes,
right.
Your Honor. Yeah.
And you'll continue your bond. Assuming you've made bond. So glad when our computer's caught up. Posted a bond April 26th. Looks like you posted a bond July 15th. Is that right?
I really,
Let's take a look.
I really got to know what Ali Rodriguez's ailment was now.
Okay, looks like on April 26th, 2023, you've signed the bond to appear July 16th. And it doesn't look like you've had any failures to appear on that. So I will continue that bond with the condition that you reappear February 21st, 9 a.m. by Zoom, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
If there's nothing further, Mr. Regier,
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
then we are in recess and Mr. Brunel is excused.
Thank
We'll
you.
now be, you're welcome, sir. We'll now be on the record in 2023 TR 2884, State of Kansas versus Corey Terrell Clayton. Jared Regier for the state. Tori Clayton, are you here? Tori Clayton. Did we get service? It looks like there's.
Have you ever had a failure to appear?
Your Honor, in that matter, I am showing an affidavit of service by certified mail with a certified mail receipt number, and it does appear to be notarized.
Recommendations?
He seriously.
Your Honor, pursuant to the ticket in this matter, this case appears to involve multiple counts, including what I understand to be at least one Class B. State would recommend bench warrant, 1,000 cash or surety.
The court will order a bench warrant and set bond at $1,000, cash or surety required.
And Your Honor,
Yes.
if the court is concluding this matter, I see that Mr. Gehring is still on the Zoom conference.
Okay.
If the court is inclined to allow a breakout room at this time, I do not believe the state would have any objection.
All right. We'll allow a breakout room. Briefly. Mr. Gehring, are you available for a breakout room with the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Missy?
What is going on with Regier?
Judge,
He
when
seriously
we're
has a 2
back
second delay on
you
everything.
might have printed your list before this one was added, but there's a Rachel Bush that you skipped over. I think she just wants to set a bench trial.
I saw that. I was going to go back to her. Thank you. We'll take her up either before or after Mr. Regier's client.
And also, Judge, we may have an interpreter here.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Do we have a language interpreter? Does anyone need a language interpreter?
My theory on Regier is model airplane glue.
Yes, Albert. Yes, he needs one. Unless I can interpret for him.
And who are you, sir? Are you a friend or family?
Yeah, I'm a family of him. My name is Uciel Alejandro Padilla Gonzalez. His name is Jorge Alberto de la Ros Mirales.
Okay, we will
that guy speaks
continue
Spanish.
him to our next
for sure
interpreter docket. When will that be?
When would that be, man?
Ashley's going to tell us that.
Okay.
April 3rd at 1:30.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second, man. Let me write that down. And what Zoom meeting ID would that be?
It will be a different ID, so somebody will need to call our office and ask for that.
What's the number, man, please?
It is 316
Uh-huh.
322
322, yes.
4370.
Again, what, April 3rd, you said?
Yes, at 1:30.
Let me write that down again. Hold on, I'm sorry about that. April 3rd, 1:30. Okay. And right now, when I get off the dock, we can call over and they'll give us the Zoom ID meeting, right?
Yes, tell them you need the interpreter docket ID.
Oh, okay.
Interpreter docket ID. Okay, let me write that down. Interpreter docket ID. Okay. Okay.
Now, where is he right now, sir?
Who? My friend?
Yes, where's he located? What town?
Kansas City, Olathe.
Kansas City, Olathe. He will need to appear in person on that April 3rd docket.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
thank you. And we'll need to get his process picture and prints and bond at that time, Deputy and Ashley, if you want to make a note of that. All right.
What's going on? Say that. Repeat it.
Kansas law requires that he get picture and prints taken in a bond. So he just needs to appear in person at the courthouse and we'll take it from there. They won't.
Okay, man. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So we're done. We can exit, right?
Hold on, wait just a moment.
Okay, ma'am.
We are on the record in 2023 TR 3102, State of Kansas versus Jorge Alberto de la Rosa Morales, who appears in person and with his friend. And again, sir, if you'd state your name for the record. The friend, if you'd state your name again.
Uciel Alejandro Padilla Gonzalez.
And the friend has indicated with Jared Regier for the state that Mr. Morales is going to need De La Rosa. Morales is going to need an interpreter. So I'm setting this over, Mr. Regier, to April 3rd at 1:30 on the interpreter docket. I'm ordering.
Forgive me, Your Honor. Could I have that case number again?
Yes, it's 23 TR 3102. And I've ordered that the defendant appear in person so he can go through picture and prints and bond. Anything else, Mr. Regier, on this matter?
Your Honor, am I correct in understanding that the court is reserving the issues of booking and bond for the next hearing?
Yes, I've ordered him to appear in person so we can do it at that time.
Thank you, Your Honor. And forgive me, could I get that continuance date one more time?
Certainly, it's April 3rd at 1:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, now you gentlemen may go. Mr. De La Rosa.
Okay, thank you, man.
Thank you, sir. You're excused. We'll be in recess. And counsel, we gotten any closer to resolution on Mr. Vargas?
Yes, Your Honor. We're prepared to enter a plea to the charge.
We are back on the record in 2022 TR 1746.
the bylaws, sure.
State of Kansas versus Richard Enrique Rafael Vargas. Mr. Vargas, where are you, please?
Oh, I'm right here, Your Honor.
Okay, can you start your audio or your camera?
Your video's off, Richard.
Oh, sorry. All right.
There we go.
Thank you.
Like I said, Your Honor, we'd like to enter a plea to the sole charge of expired tag.
Mr. Vargas, how do you plead to operating a motor vehicle with expired tag?
Guilty.
Anyone making you enter this plea today by any kind of threats or promises?
No.
And you understand if I accept your plea, you will be found guilty, giving up your right to trial, and you will not be able to appeal conviction.
Yes.
And were you on April 28th of 2022 driving a vehicle in Butler County that did not have a valid tag?
Yes.
Was your tag expired or did it have some other issue?
It was just expired, Your Honor, and he's gotten that fixed.
Very well. I will find the defendant guilty. Recommendations, Mr. Regier?
Yes, Your Honor, pursuant to
Death penalty.
the state plea negotiations, rather, the state would be recommending a $50 fine, $108 in court costs, as well as a 30-day underlying sentence and 6 months of non-reporting probation. I'll, of course, respectfully defer to the court as to any issues regarding payment of the case is concerned.
Mr. Gearing, anything further before I pronounce sentence?
Your Honor, I don't have any issue with the, like I said, Mr. Vargas is taking care of the tag violation. He's gotten it fixed. I don't have any issue with the court assessing a fine, having him pay the court costs. Of course, you know, that would be a standard procedure. I don't see any reason why it would be necessary to issue him an underlying sentence or put him on probation for something like this. I would just ask you to
seriously
assess the fine, whatever you think is appropriate, set him, you know, give him an appropriate period of time to pay it, and let's be done with this.
Thank you, Ryan, for that pile of reasonableness.
Mr. Vargas, your fine is $50. Your court costs are $108 for total due of $158. When can you pay that, Mr. Vargas?
In just a couple of days.
Couple days. I'll give you 30 days to pay. If you don't have it paid by February 24th, you will probably get your license suspended. You will have a private collection agent after you, garnishing checks and bank accounts and things like that. So make sure you get it paid, and I will withhold any jail time. But you better make sure you get that paid, or it's going to cause you a lot of hassle, Mr. Vargas. Do you know where to make your payments?
I'm sorry?
Do you know where to make your payments?
Online? Can I do that online?
Not at this time. The computer systems, I don't think, are working yet.
You can pay online. We just have to have the journal entry first so we can assess the fines and fees.
All right.
Once the journal entry is done, we'll get it paid, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gearing. We'll be in recess.
Thank you. I'll call you in a little bit, Richard.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I have that kid that got charged with the speeding and no driver's license.
Was that Flores?
Yeah, and he wants to know, can he just plead guilty on that? He's still here.
I'll bring him back.
Okay. Mr. Flores?
Okay, back on the record in 23 TR 2490, State versus David Contreras Flores, all parties as before. Mr. Flores, you've asked that we reconvene for what purpose, sir?
I don't really.
You're gonna have to speak up, sir. I can't hear you.
Sorry. I just want to plead guilty for the 2 cases. Because
The speeding and the operating without a license.
yes, ma'am.
Did you get a chance to talk to an attorney or?
Yeah, we went to talk to the one you sent us to.
Judge?
So you went to talk to Mr. Patterson?
Yeah.
According-
Did you talk?
according- Judge, excuse me, but he was sent over there to talk to Mr. Patterson, and they said that they weren't taking any traffic cases. That's what they told him, and who is that? And his mother.
I think there's been a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I highly
So,
doubt.
I
Aaron Patterson
appointed
said, go
Mr.
make an open
Patterson,
plea.
and Mr. Patterson's office told him they weren't taking any traffic cases. Maybe you didn't go to the right office.
It was across from the street right from here. Yeah. We showed her the address
by the
too.
Planet Fitness
We
there.
told her if it was the right address. She said yeah. It's like across the street from this
Pay
building.
it because they turned you away. You want to just enter pleas to these charges?
And
Or did you actually talk to the attorney?
I actually did talk to the attorney. Like we told her, but she said they don't take no tickets.
She. Well,
Judge,
Darren's
excuse
not
me
a
for
she.
interrupting, but I think probably what happened is they didn't realize he had the no driver's license. I think they were just talking
Oh, the speeding.
about the speeding ticket.
Now
That's
that makes sense.
what I'm guessing. And he did go up here and talk to the county attorney office, and he came back and it said he just wants to plead guilty on both of the cases.
Both of the counts.
Yeah, and I told him he'll still have to go get processed.
Yes, he will. Well, Mr. Flores, I think the deputy's probably right. Did you tell him you had a speeding ticket and a Class B misdemeanor, no driver's license?
Yeah, I told her we had no driver license, but they said they just told me about the ticket. Yeah, I'm not really sure. She said her attorney was not there. She had to wait till he got back and then tell him.
Well, I don't want you to rush into this, and I don't want you to be denied your right to an attorney. We will certainly get an order appointing Mr. Patterson. But if you're adamant that you want to plead guilty, we can entertain that possibility too. But I don't want you to plead guilty just because the attorney's office mistakenly sent you away. We've already got you set for April 8th. So what do you want to do, Mr. Flores? Do you want to go ahead and talk to the attorney and come back April 8th? Or do you still want to waive your right to an attorney and enter your pleas today?
I'll just plead guilty.
Are you sure that's what you want to do?
Yes.
Oh, sweet Jesus! The attorney will take your case. I'm confident of that. The attorney has a contract with the county. He takes these cases all the time, and he's very experienced. He's here every Monday, and I know he'd be very happy to talk to you. There's just been some mistake in understanding. So are you sure you don't want to take some time and talk to him?
I'll take some time and talk to him.
Okay, so let's leave this April 8th at 8 a.m. and go back over there and tell them.
I think there might be a new girl at the front too, so she might be confused
Okay,
and didn't realize that he was an appointed attorney, not that he's wanting to hire him.
okay. Can you send
Yeah.
her I don't know if you have time, Ashley or Missy, if either one of you have time to shoot an email over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
There
tell them that the order
there
of
needs a
appointment will
Yesenia
be
over there.
coming.
Straighten these things out.
Okay, so you still need to get your pictures and prints taken when you were told. You still need to go back over and give them your information.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for yours. Austin Weaver, let's take up your case.
Yes, ma'am.
We're on the record in 2024 TR91. State of Kansas versus Austin Weaver. Jared Regier for the state, defendant Weaver in person and pro se. Mr. Weaver, you're here on one count of operating a vehicle without insurance on August 21st, 23. And if you had insurance at the time, just get proof of that to the county attorney and they may dismiss. If not, you're looking at a B, non-person misdemeanor, 6 months maximum possible sentence, fine $300 up to $1,000. And if you qualify for diversion, you might be able to get this dismissed even if you didn't have insurance. You want to look into diversion, Mr. Weaver?
No, I was just wanting to see about just having a fine, possibly. I didn't have insurance at the time, but I had just bought that truck that I got pulled over in,
Well,
and I was
usually there is, like I said, there's a mandatory minimum $100 fine, 108 court costs are both required. There's usually a little bit of jail time, but it's suspended for probation if you want to proceed in that fashion today. Is that what you're saying you want to do? You want to plead guilty and admit this be misdemeanor?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you wanting to waive your right to an attorney then, or do you want to talk to an attorney first before you commit to a plea?
Um,
I'm not trying to talk you into it or to talk you out of it, but I have to tell you that you do have the right.
no, I think it should be pretty straightforward.
Oh,
All right, so you wish to waive your right to
it's
an
not like Rick
attorney
Stash is
and
making an
represent
appearance.
yourself today. Is
I
that
didn't
correct?
notice.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have to ask you if anyone's making you waive your right to an attorney?
No.
Okay, then I will reflect that you're knowingly and voluntarily waiving your right, as long as you tell me that you understand if you can't afford an attorney, you can apply for court appointed. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then the journal entry and the docket notes should reflect that you've waived attorney on record. Now, how do you want to plead to this liability insurance charge? Or do you want to look into diversion where they
Into
might dismiss
diversion,
it
dummy.
if you paid your fine and costs and got your insurance?
Yeah, we can look into the diversion then.
All right, go under a not guilty plea,
We got there.
and we will set this for. Can you fit it in somewhere, Ashley, or do we need to go to that May 1st?
Let me look here.
He kicked things off with, I don't want a diversion. I just want the exact results of a
How
diversion.
about that February 21st?
All right, we'll set this over to February 21st at 9 a.m. But Mr. Weaver, if you want diversion, you contact the county attorney. They have a website, bucoks.com.
All right.
BU for Butler, CO for County, KS for Kansas.com. Get on there right now and look at their application for diversion and get that submitted. If they approve you, they'll send you a contract and you need to get that back. So don't poke around on this, Mr. Weaver. Get it done by February 21st at 9 a.m. You have any questions about that? Mr. Weaver? Mr. Weaver, did I lose you?
Bueller.
He needs to get his picture and prints taken. I'm gonna set his bond at 1,000 OR. Just need to get him back here. Austin Weaver,
Is he frozen?
Missy, when he comes back, can you send him to a breakout room, court security too? I suspect he'll probably sign back in.
Yes.
Okay. You
And
just,
Your Honor, to the extent that the court is still on the record in this matter, any information pertaining to diversion can be found at that website previously indicated by the court.
okay. So deputy, if you get him back here, he's to reappear February 21st at 9 a.m. But he's also supposed to get that diversion done before then, if he wants it, and his bond is 1,000 OR.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. We'll now take up Walker on the record in 2023 TR 342, State of Kansas versus Bryce Walker. Jared Regier for the state. Bryce Walker, are you present?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker, you had your first appearance May 24th of 2023. We're going to look into diversion, so we came back August 9th, but you didn't. You failed to appear. Warrant issued. You were back November 1st, and you told me on November 1st, 2023, again, that you were going to apply for diversion, so we set the matter for today. Did you get diverted?
The first appearance, I applied for diversion, and I believe I was accepted because I got the phone call, and she said they were sending something in the mail, And on the second court appearance, I believe I said I live with elderly people, and I believe they might have thrown the packet away or whatever the second step is in the program or whatever. And I went to the office, and the lady told me she gave me the information to reapply. I just didn't have the funds at the time.
Okay, so we've been
Bryce has
contemplating and attempting to apply for diversion
got
since
some
May
serious Barry
24th,
White, Chocolate Thunder
23.
vibes.
And I think you said it's your last effort. You
These
didn't have the
pepper
money
ladies, I
to
guarantee
turn
it.
in a new application. They're gonna make you turn in a new application. Are you sure it was the application or was it the contract?
It was the application. I don't believe I received a contract.
Okay. Is diversion still an option? Mr. Regier, registration, insurance, tag, display.
Your Honor, I don't have any notes from the version coordinator one way or the other, although I am showing that based off my notes, an agreement was circulated to the defendant approximately 6 to 7 months ago.
So it sounds like they approved you and they sent you the contract. Do you have the contract that you're supposed to initial and sign, Mr. Walker?
No, the thing was in the second hearing, I said I believed it got lost or it was thrown away. I live with elderly people, so I believe my belief is that it was thrown away.
Okay, did you ask for another copy?
No, I believed I just had to reapply, and I just didn't have the funds at the time.
It sounds like you better double check that because from what Mr. Regier says, you were approved. Now, it could be you waited so long that they needed an updated information on you and may have required you to reapply. If I set this over one last time, Mr. Walker, will you get with the diversion coordinator and or get the diversion? Will you take the diversion if they'll give it to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want it? I'm not trying to force you to do it, but it would be a chance for you to keep these off your record if you want to do that.
Of course, of course.
But this case is so old, it's over a year old.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do it, you need to get it done. Otherwise, let's go to trial.
Understood.
Write down the number. Are you ready? Always come to court with pencil and paper, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Ready? 316-321-6999 and ask for the diversion coordinator. And see where you are on this, but I'm not going to keep setting this over. Okay, Ashley, you got a date for us? Try to fit it in if you can.
How about March the 13th?
March 13th at 9 a.m., Mr. Walker. Now, are you going to have the money? If they do grant you diversion, will you have the money, do you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Because that insurance is not a cheap charge. That's got a minimum $300 just for it.
Yes, I understand.
All right, I'm going to give you one last chance, and then that's it. We'll just have to set it for trial.
Understood.
All right, if you decide you want an attorney, again, you can always apply if you can't afford an attorney. All right, you may go, Mr. Walker. If there's nothing further, does he need to be processed, deputy? No? All right, I'm going to continue your bond with the condition that you reappear March 13th at 9 a.m. unless you've got that diverted.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Deputy, did you need anything? Did your guy show up?
Yeah, Mr. Weaver, I was able to get into a breakout room with him and then he locked right back up. And so I left the meeting. So I'll keep trying if he pops back up.
Okay.
But he just doesn't seem to have a stable connection. So
Tell him to appear at the courthouse next time then if you can't get a stable connection. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Will now be on the record in 23 TR 3180, State of Kansas versus Randall Rene Valaquez Jr. Jared Regier for the state is the defendant here. Randall Rene Valaquez Jr. Apparently fails to appear. I show an unserved note, but Mr. Regier, what do you show?
Your Honor, I'm showing a return of service on the summons. It appears to include a notation stating, quote, or at least would appear to suggest it says, quote, move to another state, NFA, which I would interpret to mean no forwarding address. And that looks to be a date of in early December.
And recommendations then?
Your Honor, I'm looking at the ticket in this matter. My understanding is this case involves one unclassified misdemeanor. State would recommend bench warrant 500 cash or surety.
Bench warrant, I'm going to set the bond at 1,000 cash or surety.
Very good, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'll be in recess on.
Do this today, Your Honor. My health is in jeopardy right now.
What's that?
I have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and what's been going on?
Very stressful.
I'm bleeding inside, man.
Versus John T. Frazier. Jared Regier for the state. Mr. Frazier appears in person and pro se. Is that you, Mr. Frazier?
Yes, ma'am.
These tickets go back to November 22nd, 2014. Count 1, failing to yield at a stop sign. Count 2, operating without a license. Looks like November 22nd of 2014 was when the charges were filed. But I don't know, where have you been, sir?
Ma'am, I used to be in heavy addiction. I'm 3 years clean now. So I'm just trying to get my life back together, you know.
I'm glad you are. So you are heavily addicted in just what?
Alcohol and drugs.
So where were you living?
At that time, I was living in Eureka, Kansas.
And where have you been in the last 9 years?
Ma'am, really, I just really ain't done what I was supposed to do most of my life. I have absolutely no excuse. Just like I said, I'm trying to get my life together now. I'm trying to get my driver's license, and I was told I have to go through court to get my license. I got 3 kids at home. You know.
Okay, so you do have a home now.
Oh yes, ma'am. I had a home then too. You know, I was.
Yeah. Without getting into further detail, there were drugs involved.
And is there a wife in the picture or spouse?
There is now. I got married June 28th, just last year.
Okay, so what?
Good Lord.
What do you want to do about this stop sign and no driver's license?
But really, I have no idea. Like I said, I'm at a point in my life to where I absolutely have to have a driver's license. I live in the country, and like I said, I've got three kids at home, and my wife can't do all the driving, and it's keeping me from going forward and my job.
Okay, so are you living in Eureka still?
No, ma'am. I live in Hutchinson, Kansas.
Okay, you live in Hutchinson, and where do you work?
I work for an independent contractor.
Doing what kind of work?
Windows and siding.
Windows and siding. And you're recently married, and you have 3 children, did you say?
I have 3 children at home.
At home? So that implies you have some more somewhere?
I have 5 kids.
Where are the other 2?
Okay, well, one of the children at home aren't mine. He's my brother-in-law. My wife's father passed away some years back, and she's adopted her little brother.
Oh no.
But I've got two of my kids are at home. Then I got one in Newton, I've got one in Eureka, and I've got one in college in Colorado.
Okay, so how many are you legally supporting at this time?
3.
3.
And I pay child support on one of them.
On another one of the 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then there's you and your wife, so that's a family of,
It's me, my wife, my daughter, my son, and my brother-in-law.
because your wife adopted him.
Yes, ma'am. They are 16, 11, and 6.
Okay. And how much money per month do you make there at your business?
I make about $2,000 a month. I make $500 a week.
And does your spouse work?
Yes, ma'am. She works at Lincare delivering oxygen to the elderly.
And what does she make per month?
She makes about $2,500 to $2,700 a month.
And then what do you pay for rent or mortgage?
I pay $600 for rent.
I'm going to appoint Attorney Darren Patterson. Can you write down his name for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Darren Patterson.
Yes, ma'am.
And his number is 316-321. No, strike that. 316-322-7700. And let's give him a court date on a Monday. When will that be?
On April 8th.
Okay, you need to be back here April 8th at 8 a.m. by Zoom with Mr. Patterson. And Mr. Regier, are you showing a bond for him? I presume, as old as this case is, he's here on bond, but again, I hate to keep bringing up the computer problem.
Ma'am, they never took me to jail on it. They just let me go.
They didn't make you sign a bond.
No, ma'am, they didn't give me a ticket or nothing.
They didn't make you take your picture and prints.
No, ma'am, they let me go on site. The cop just made me get in the passenger seat and let my girlfriend drive at the time.
Okay. Is that what you're showing,
no.
Mr. Regier?
They did give me a ticket. I'm sorry, they did give me a ticket. They just didn't take me to jail.
Right. But are you talking about recently, or are you talking about 2014?
I'm talking about the 2014.
Right. Okay.
I haven't been to jail in quite some time now.
So what brings you to court today? Did you just ask to be put on the docket?
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to get my license situated.
Okay. And again, Mr. Regier, my system being incomplete here, is that what you're showing?
Your Honor, what I can say is that my understanding is this is a first appearance hearing that was specifically set by the defendant based off my notes.
Very good, Mr. Frazier. It does sound like you're trying to turn things around. So, but I do need to have you get to Butler County at some point, and I'm going to give you $1,000 OR bond. Kansas law requires that you get picture and prints. So I'm going to give you an OR bond where you don't have to put any money up. But since you have a B misdemeanor, you do need to take care of that. Now, what I'll do is have you and the officer there in court security too get together in a breakout room and determine when you can get out and do that.
All righty.
So your attorney, Darren Patterson, call him.
Yes, ma'am.
And then return April 8th at 8 a.m. unless your attorney tells you otherwise, and talk to the officer about setting an OR bond. And I think that covers it, doesn't it, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, I do not believe I have anything else at this time.
Okay, Mr. Frazier, anything else?
No, ma'am.
Well, I congratulate you on overcoming the addiction and getting your life back on track, Mr. Frazier. I know that's not been easy, and so that's great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You may go at this time, sir. Oh, wait, don't leave, don't leave. You're gonna go with an invitation to a breakout room. Do that.
All right.
All right, but the hearing is over.
No, okay. All right.
We will now be on the record in 23. Oh, let's see, which one we're gonna go back to. Let's go up to Emmons, Holly Emmons. We're on the record in 2023 TR 2181, State of Kansas versus Holly Adele Emmons. Jared Regier for the state. Holly Emmons, are you here? Holly Adele Emmons. Jared Regier for the state. Holly Evans or Holly Adele Emmons failing to appear. She failed to appear for first appearance. That's the one I believe where she was a minor and her father told her not to be here. Did she by chance get diversion, Mr. Regier?
One moment.
Thank you.
Your Honor, my understanding is that a diversion agreement was circulated by my office. However, I am not showing a diversion agreement currently on file with the court in this matter.
Well, remember the situation. His father was trying to take care of his daughter's legal obligations and help her avoid them. Recommendations?
Your Honor, my understanding is that pursuant to the ticket, this is a case that involves one unclassified misdemeanor. In light of the prior goings on in this case and what that specifically entails, the state would be requesting a bench warrant 1000 OR.
That is a reasonable request. I also could go with the clerk's letter of notice of intent to suspend. And you said that there is a diversion agreement circulating?
That would appear accurate based off of my understanding of the case, Your Honor.
I'm going to issue the clerk's letter and see if that doesn't get her.
Judge, I'm not sure Topeka is sending those out yet. Those go through from Topeka, and I don't think that's something they're back up on.
How old was this girl? 16, 15, 17? I can't remember. All right. I'll issue a bench warrant and you said how 500 OR?
Judge,
Yes.
I think it was her grandpa's funeral today.
You think that
Grandpa died.
you think Holly Emmons had a funeral for her grandpa today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now you're Andrew Stevens.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your connection to the Emmons family?
Those are like I grew up in school with them, all the Emmons. Like we were in the same class.
Sweet.
You think it was grandpa's funeral, but you don't know for sure.
Well, I saw the funeral thing on Facebook. That's what.
Well, let's go out on a limb, Mr. Regier. Between the diversion and possible funeral, let's continue this to what's our next court date? Continue to a week from today would be what, February
31st.
You mean January 31st?
Yes.
I set you up for that. Didn't I? All right, January 31st at 9 a.m.
No, I think he's got his own case.
And-
I'm not sure.
Mr. Stevens, do you know how to get a hold of her?
Yes, ma'am. I'll write her a message on Facebook and tell her. Hey, you said what day?
January 31st at 9 a.m. Now,
All right, thank
That's
you.
not-
I'll write her on Facebook and tell her.
Yeah, that's not legal notice, but that's just one more chance to get her here. So if she hasn't gotten her diversion done by January 31st, got it filed, she better be here. And I know, Mr. Regier, I'm handling this in the most unusual manner.
Your Honor, the state would have it noted for the record, its concerns regarding, the apparent procedural irregularities.
Well, I'll also have the clerk send a note out to her that it's been continued. But go ahead, Mr. Regier. I'm sorry I cut you off there.
Your Honor, in any event, the state does
Oh
find
my God.
all this very irregular procedurally, and the state would respectfully request it be noted on the record.
Very well, Mr. Regier, and I understand where you're coming from, and you're totally right, but that's what I'm gonna do.
He's got a
Thank you,
purple
Your Honor.
wedgie. He
You're
really
welcome.
does.
And then let's take you up, Mr. Stevens, because I have a note that you've got a doctor's appointment. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So we're on the record in 2023 TR 300104, State of Kansas versus Andrew Dwayne Stevens, Jared Regier for the state. Mr. Stevens appearing in person and pro se. Mr. Stevens, it looks like this is your first appearance before the court. Count one, you're accused of operating a motor vehicle without a license. This is a B, non-person misdemeanor. If convicted, you could be looking at up to 6 months in the county jail and a $1,000 fine, although probation is an option. And count two, you're looking at operating a motor vehicle without valid insurance or at least proof thereof. That's a B misdemeanor with up to 6 months possible jail sentence, but it also has a minimum fine. The court is required, if you're found guilty, to impose a $300 fine, but could go up to $1,000. These charges dating back to October 24th of 23. Now, you've been hearing me talk a lot about diversion where you get the charges dismissed. Is that something you want to look into?
I would like to, but I don't have the money. But I've done and tried to go up to the DMV to do the test, like, and stuff for my driving license, and I failed it 3 times. So they told me, like, since I failed it 3 times, I had to wait a certain amount of time to go back and do it again. And
Would you like then to talk to an attorney since you're looking at 2B misdemeanors?
yeah,
You can hire an attorney if you cannot afford to hire an attorney.
We've got
You can
another cone
apply and
killer.
see if you qualify for court appointed.
I got the insurance, not on me right now, but it's at my house on the cars. There was a truck and a car that I got pulled over in, my parents' vehicles.
Well, do you want to talk to an attorney about this to see if there's anything the attorney can do to help you?
Yes, I'll talk to attorney.
Okay, are you able to hire an attorney?
No, can I get a court-appointed one?
Well, I can ask you some questions and see if you qualify. First of all, you have a job? Are you working?
I've been taking care of my mom and my dad. My dad just got out of the hospital. He had to get stents in his heart, and he got a blood clot in his neck. My mom had diabetes, real like in her feet, she's about to have them cut off. And I've been dealing with that and trying to get like my legal works like all straightened up. And it's just been really hard here lately.
Okay, so you've been busy helping your parents. Do you get paid for that?
Well, no, but I do work for my landlords, and they take it off my rent.
Okay.
He
That
qualifies.
helps and stuff.
Let's
So
go.
you don't have any income that pays you other than for reduction in rent?
No,
Okay. You're how old?
I'm 25, Your Honor.
25. Do you have your high school diploma?
I was getting my GED. I was getting it,
At least he knows what it is.
Okay, well, I would urge you to try to get back in there. Those diplomas
Yeah.
are really valuable.
Yes,
So
Bill.
you're not paying rent and a mortgage, but you don't have, or a mortgage, but you don't have income. I'm going to appoint Attorney Darren Patterson. Do you have a pencil and paper to write that down, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
It's Darren Patterson, Darren, and his number is 316-322-7700.
Okay.
Call his office as soon as this hearing is over. And let's see, Ashley, when's our next court date?
April 8th.
You must be back here, sir, April 8th at 8 a.m.
I
by
agree.
Zoom again.
I feel
You
bad for
must
this
talk
guy.
to Mr. Patterson before then about these charges, so call his office and give him your contact information. You are on bond, and I will continue that bond with all existing conditions, plus the added condition that you contact Mr. Patterson and the added condition that you reappear by Zoom April 8th at 8 a.m.
Yes, ma'am. I will.
Anything further, Mr. Regier from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Stevens, anything further?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. You're
appreciate it.
excused. Thank you. You're
Thank you.
excused.
Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. You too. Rachel Bush, we didn't take you up? I thought we did. Well, let's do that.
No, you said you were gonna loop back around and then we got some
Oh.
other things.
And I didn't
All
get
right.
back yet. Well, that's okay.
Is Andrew here?
We are on the record in 2023 TR 3603, State of Kansas versus Rachel Ann Bush.
I
Jared
feel
Regier
Andrew
for the
comment
state.
coming on. I don't know
Rachel
why.
Bush appearing in person and pro se. Ms. Bush, you have the one charge of failing to yield at a stop or yield sign in Butler County on December 14th.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you on that last part, your last sentence.
Okay. You are charged in one count with failure to yield at a stop or yield sign. This is a traffic infraction. It does not carry a possible jail sentence. But if you were to be convicted, there is a scheduled fine of $75 plus court costs of $108. Now, the fact that you're sitting here and have waited so patiently so long tells me that maybe you're wanting a bench trial. Is that right?
I originally was, but I think I will just go ahead and pay off the fine.
All right. The other option might be the diversion you've heard so much about while you waited. You'd still pay your fine and cost plus a diversion fee, but you could get it dismissed.
Yes.
Is that anything you're interested in?
I will just. No, ma'am. No, thank you.
All right. So you said you want to just enter a plea of guilty and pay the fine?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is anyone making you enter this plea of guilty today?
No.
Do you understand that if you plead guilty, you will be found guilty and you will give up your right to trial, which you won't get back?
Yes.
And that's what you wish to do?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And were you operating a motor vehicle in Butler County on December 14th of 2023?
Yes.
And did you fail to yield at a stop sign or a yield sign?
I believe I stopped, but I think I have to say yes, right, to plead guilty.
Well, if you want to plead guilty, another option is to plead no contest, which means you don't want to admit it, but you don't want to deny it and take it to trial. Is that what you'd rather plead?
Yes, ma'am. I'd rather do that.
Okay, but you'll still most likely be found guilty, but you won't be admitting it either. Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, Mr. Regier, since she's pleading no contest, do you want to offer a factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor. If this case went to trial, the state would the state's evidence would show that a stop did occur on December 14th of 2023 at approximately 5:10 in the evening. Going off the ticket, it would appear that the stop did occur at Southwest Butler Road and K254 North. My understanding that is in Butler County. I believe that would address the issue of jurisdiction. It would appear based off of the ticket that the stop involved a 2012 Lincoln, and the officer specifically cited the defendant for failing to stop at a stop sign pursuant to the same.
All right, based on the defendant's no contest plea and the basis proffered by County Attorney Regier, I will find the defendant guilty. And Mr. Regier, is there any reason to deviate from the scheduled fine of $75 and 108 court costs?
Your Honor, that would be the state's recommendation in this particular matter. Before the court pronounces sentence, while the state does acknowledge that this is a case that appears to only involve an infraction, the state would respectfully request the court address the issue of counsel prior to issuing sentence.
Okay. Ms. Bush, do you understand you do have the right to hire an attorney? I can't appoint one because there's no jail time involved, but do you understand you could have talked to and still can talk to an attorney if you prefer?
Uh-oh.
Yes, but I don't need to.
Okay, then I will show that you've waived your right to counsel.
Are you aware that Jay Regier is always hard on Bush?
I will impose the fine of $75 and court costs of 108 for a total of 183. Can you pay that within 30 days?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I will order that it be paid within 30 days. And if it's not paid, then you'll be turned over to collections and they'll come after your paycheck or bank account and you'll get your license suspended. So
Okay.
make sure you get that paid to the clerk of the district court in Butler County.
Okay. All right.
If there's nothing further, we'll be in recess. Thank you, Ms. Bush.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll now be on the record in 2023 TR 3185, State of Kansas versus Robert John Arribas. Jerry
no.
Here for the state, Robert John Arribas. Are you here?
We got the stash
I'd like
back.
to start your audio and video, Mr. Arribas.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can I have you start your video, please?
How do you do that? This is the first time I've ever been on Zoom.
Okay, are you on a telephone?
Yes, it's through the app.
If you run your finger down the side or bottom of your phone, you'll probably see a little red camera looking icon with a line through it.
It says one that says mute and then one that says start video.
Yeah, it's probably the one that says
Yeah, his
start video.
camera's on. I wonder if you need to flip it the other way.
Maybe.
You see those little half circles that you can click to make your camera turn around towards
There's one
you?
that says,
Is that better?
There you go.
All right, Mr. Arribas, in count one, you are charged with operating a motor vehicle without liability insurance, a Class B non-person misdemeanor. If convicted, the sentence could be up to 6 months in the county jail, and the fine could be anywhere from $300 to $1,000. And then in count two, you're charged with failing to wear a seat belt. That carries no jail time, but a $30 fine. You do have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, you can apply and see if you qualify for court appointed. You can plead not guilty and set this for trial, or plead guilty or no contest and proceed with sentencing today. Now, you also may be eligible for that diversion that you've heard so much about this morning. Would you like to look into diversion, or how would you like to proceed?
First of all, I did have insurance, on that vehicle. It's just the way the calendar fell for that day. The first was on a Sunday, and this was on the second, and I was actually on my way to renew my insurance for October because of how the calendar fell. And I did have my seatbelt on,
Oh, good.
I had taken it off to reach for the glove compartment because I have instruments in my low back and I'm not supposed to bend or twist. And that officer was beside me for a long period of time before he decided to get behind me and pull me over, which I thought was weird for not wearing my seatbelt, is what he said. But I had my seatbelt on. I just took it off to get to the glove compartment because of my medical condition with my back.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying that at the time that Deputy Kane stopped you on October 2nd, 2023, you did have insurance on the vehicle?
It was for September, but since how the calendar fell on the 1st, which I got it on the 1st of September, so because of it falling on the 1st of October, they were closed, and I'm on disability, so I had to wait till the 2nd, which is Monday, to go renew the insurance, which was where I was on my way to.
Well, I will tell you this, if your insurance was valid at the time of the stop and you provide proof of that to the county attorney, they may dismiss that. If you had proof and had taken it to the officer within 10 days, he would have had to dismiss it. But now the county attorney may dismiss that, but you have to provide you had proof at the time of the stop. And if you want to challenge these charges, you can set them for trial. I don't know if I heard an answer, though, to my question of whether you wanted to look into diversion, or do you want to apply for an attorney, or do you want to set this for trial and represent yourself? We'll break it down with, first of all, do you want to look into the diversion? Provide proof of insurance and look into diversion. Do you want to do that?
Can you tell me a bit more how the diversion works, please?
Diversion, you would have to apply to the county attorney and see if you qualify. They would look at your existing charges and your prior records and make a decision. If you're approved, you would have to pay the fines and costs. Now, if you had insurance, like I said, they'd probably dismiss that. You'd just be looking at the seat belt. But you could apply, and if they approve, you'd pay the fines, the costs, and a diversion fee. You would have to show proof of insurance, and then they would most likely, anything else they required, you'd have to do, and they would dismiss the charges and keep them off your record. That's diversion. And I'm not a party to that, and it's their program, and I'm just telling you from what I've seen, what usually I see. All right, is that something you want to look into, or do we need to go to the next step?
Well, I have the insurance for these days because a couple of days after this stopped, and the car has not moved due to it blowing a head gasket. So I do have the insurance for October, and I think somewhere I still have the other one for September.
You need one for October 2nd at whatever time the stop was. Let's see.
Yeah, I have that one because that's, like I said, that's where I was actually headed to, was to go renew the insurance on it since they were close.
But did you have insurance?
I had it for September as well.
Well, you needed to have it at 9:44. Is that 9 or 10? I don't know. You would have had to have provided proof for 9:44 a.m. October 2nd, 2023. That's the time that is important. If you had it then, you can bring proof to the county attorney. If you went and got it an hour later, no. If you went and got it the next day, no. But that's about as far as I'm going to go on statements involving legal advice, because I'm not here to give you legal advice. Well, to some extent, to tell you what your charges are and what the possible consequences are. But what I need to know is, Mr. Rivas, do you want to set this for trial, or do you want to talk to an attorney, or do you want to apply for diversion? I just need to know how you want to proceed, and I'll be happy to answer any questions I can in those directions.
I think I'd like to speak with an attorney.
All right, are you able to hire an attorney?
No.
Um,
And disability.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so are you working full-time?
No, I'm disabled.
Are you getting a paycheck for your disability?
Yes.
Okay, if you want to tell me, is that somewhere between 900 and 1,700 a month? Somewhere in
Probably. I haven't really looked to see how much it went up here lately.
How long have you been
Oh,
disabled?
sweet Jesus.
Since 2015.
Okay, so do you have any other income?
No.
Well, you would probably apply for court-appointed attorney, but do you think you can hire one and want to hire one? Or do you want a court-appointed?
Come on.
Court appointed.
There we go.
And are you married or single?
Single.
He got there.
I'm going to appoint attorney Darren Patterson. Do you have something
Ladies,
to write
single.
that down with?
I can grab something real quick.
All right, always come to court with pencil and paper.
Okay.
All right, it's Darren, Darren Patterson, and his phone number is 312-322-7700. Call him after court. Tell him your court date, which Ashley's going to give us now.
April 8th.
You're gonna have to be back here April 8th at 8 a.m. by Zoom again. You need to call Mr. Patterson, that's an order. And give him your case number, which is 23 TR for traffic 3185.
Okay.
And I believe you appear on a summons, so you'll need to get your picture and prints taken, and I'm going to give you $1,000 OR bond.
Oh, yeah. He's my wingman.
So when I'm adjourn this hearing, or when I recess your hearing, you'll need to
My wingman when
see
I'm
an
in Kansas.
invitation on your screen to a breakout room, and Missy will put you in the breakout room with court security too, and he'll help you set up a time to get that taken care of.
Okay.
All right, anything further we need to address, Mr. Regier?
Not to my knowledge, Judge.
All right, Mr. Arribas, anything else that we need to address from your perspective?
No.
All right, then we are in recess, but stay on the screen and go into that breakout room with court security too.
Okay.
And then call Mr. Patterson. So we'll be in recess on Mr. Arribas. Missy, you can put him in the breakout room.
Oh, that's
Let's take up Alexandria Rodriguez.
what I've been waiting for. Let's hear it.
You will be on the record
Hope it's not
in
super sad.
2024 TR 97, State of Kansas versus Alexandria Rodriguez, with Jared Regier for the state and Miss Rodriguez in person.
Your
And
Honor.
say, yes, sir.
Forgive my interjection, but I believe I'm in a position to address this case summarily if the court will permit me.
Please do.
Your Honor, some recent information has been brought to my attention regarding this matter. At this time, the state would move to dismiss without prejudice.
Oh, boy.
All right,
Must
Ms.
be real and
Rodriguez,
legit.
I don't know, and I don't need to know what is motivating the state, but they have just moved to dismiss your case without prejudice, meaning that if something else happens, they can refile it later. But this time, I will dismiss the case without prejudice. So you may go, Ms. Rodriguez.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Abby Rova. We're on the record in 2023 TR 1600, State of Kansas versus Abby J. Rova.
Yes, ma'am.
Jared Regier for the state, Ms. Rova in person and pro se. Ms. Rova was supposed to be here October 25th, 23, but she was here. I'm sorry, she was here. So this is not your first appearance. We set it over for today so you could apply for diversion, Ms. Rova. Did you get that taken care of?
Unfortunately, I did not. When I went to go speak with her, I went to go send in my proof of insurance and proof of valid driver's license. I sent the insurance over yesterday, and I know that was very late of me. I was driving my parents' car, and I don't have the best relationship with them, so it's hard for me to get that sent over. So she was supposed to be checking to make sure I still had the valid insurance on the day I got pulled over. And then with the diversion, when I talked to her about the vehicle registration, she mentioned something about how I would have to get a vehicle to put in my name for the diversion and everything like that. And I'm not in a place to do that at the moment. The car that I was driving, it has been registered. I just don't have the proof of the papers other than with the tag on the vehicle itself.
Did you get the papers from your folks?
No, I haven't been able to find it. I've been meaning to go over to their house and try to search for them, but my car's broken down. It's in the shop right now.
I wonder if that's something you could get a copy from the county clerk or county treasurer.
Possibly I could try to talk to them about it. It's just hard to talk to them every once in a while.
Okay, well, this case is almost a year old. It goes back to April 6th or April 26th of 2023. So we need to get it resolved one way or another, either by pretrial diversion, trial, or plea. You're looking at 2 B misdemeanors and an unclassified misdemeanor. I don't know if it would do you any good to try to get more time for the diversion, or if you want to set it for trial, or hire an attorney, or apply for court appointed, but maybe you can give me an idea on how you want to proceed.
Could I maybe apply for a court appointed attorney?
You can do that. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
I work at a restaurant. It's called the Green Mill.
I'm familiar with the Green Mill, and that's in Wichita. What do
Yes,
you make
ma'am.
a month?
About 2,800.
Okay, married or single?
Single.
Children that you support?
Yes, I have one.
For your family too. And you pay rent or a mortgage?
Yeah, I pay $950 in rent.
$950 in rent. Do you pay any utilities?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
Probably close to another like $1,000 in utilities, including like phone bills and everything like that.
So you kind of go in the hole each month, or do you have some other income?
No, that's it.
All right, I will appoint Attorney Darren Patterson. Ready to write that down?
Yes, ma'am.
Darren Patterson.
Sorry, I thought my pen was working. Give me 1 second. I have another one right next to me. Okay.
Darren
Got it.
Patterson. Tell me, are you ready?
Yep, go for it.
316-322-7700.
Okay.
And Ashley, when will we be back, Mr. Patterson?
April 8th.
You'll need to be back here by Zoom, April 8th at 8 a.m., Miss Rova.
I gotcha. If by chance my parents do, if I can get a hold of them and they get that proof of vehicle registration and I just send that over, would I still just talk to Darren Patterson about
Yes,
that?
yes, talk to Mr. Patterson about all of that.
Okay.
And Your Honor,
Yes,
Given that the court has appointed a public defender in this matter, the state would respectfully suggest any communications to my office should be through the public defender.
Okay. You understand that, Ms. Roba? Yeah, go through Mr. Patterson on everything now. Don't be doing half and half where you have him doing something and you try to do something, let him do it all. But of course, tell him what you have, see what he wants you to do. And come back, call him as soon as his hearing is over, give him your contact information. Your court date is April 8th at 8 a.m. Continue the bond you're on with the condition that you contact your attorney and reappear April 8th at 8 a.m. Anything further on this case, Mr. Regier from the state?
Not for me, Your Honor.
Ms. Rova, anything further?
No, ma'am.
And you are excused to call Mr. Patterson.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll now take up Amber Riley. On the record in 2023, TR 1911, State of Kansas versus Amber Riley. Jared Regier for the state, defendant Ms. Riley in person and pro se. Ms. Riley, you were here October 25th, 23, though you weren't.
Oh, we got a
had to issue
puppy.
an alias summons. So this is your first appearance and you have one count of operating a vehicle without registration or expired tag.
I want to see the puppy.
Do you want to set this for trial? Do you want to look into diversion? Do you want to talk to the attorney?
What are the fines would be involved with that, ma'am?
Well, I can tell you that they could be up to $2,500, but I think 50 is about what I usually see, plus 108 court costs. That's what's recommended. Now, I'm not saying that that's what it would be, or that I would go with that, or even that Mr. Regier would recommend it, but that's what I see a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And then there is a potential jail sentence of 30 days up to 6 months, but probation is often granted for that. That's about all I can tell you. No guarantees on any of that. Just
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to go ahead and plead guilty and not take up any more court time and get this all resolved as soon as possible, Your Honor.
all right. Do you want to talk to an attorney? Because you do have the right to hire an attorney, or if you cannot afford an attorney, to apply for a court-appointed attorney. But you can waive those attorneys, or waive the right to attorney and represent yourself as you just indicated you wanted to.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to waive my rights, please.
Okay, is anyone making you waive your rights to an attorney?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I will have the docket notes and the journal entry reflect that you are voluntarily waiving right to counsel. And now, again, you can plead not guilty and we can set this for trial at a future date. You can plead guilty admitting the charges and we can proceed to sentencing, or you can plead no contest. That means you don't admit the charge, but you don't want to deny it and take it to trial.
Well, I'll plead guilty, Your Honor. Definitely did it.
All right, so you want to admit that on May 28th, 2023, you were operating a vehicle in Butler County and that vehicle had no registration or tag?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Was it an expired tag?
It was an expired registration, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And where did the officer stop you, if you remember?
Oh, I don't remember. I was traveling from Missouri down to Texas. It was outside of El Dorado, I do believe.
And Mr. Regier, do you agree that it was in Butler County somewhere near El Dorado?
Your Honor, I am looking at the ticket in this matter and it lists the stop as occurring on I-35 at mile marker 60.4. My understanding is that is approximately halfway between El Dorado and Andover, but still within the confines of Butler County nevertheless.
Okay, that sound right, Ms. Riley?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will accept your plea and find you guilty. Recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, I would note for
Death
purposes of the
penalty.
record that I do not have any notes one way or the other from the diversion coordinator regarding the defendant's eligibility for diversion. But if the court is satisfied for the sole count currently before the court, the state would be recommending a $50 fine, $108 court costs, a 30-day underlying sentence, and 6 months of non-reporting probation.
And again, Ms. Riley, you understand that you may be eligible for diversion where you pay the fines, costs, and diversion fee, and you could get this dismissed. But you
Yes,
choose
ma'am.
not- And you choose not to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. At this time, your fine will be $50. Your court costs 108 for a total due of 158. Your sentence will be suspended for a 30-day suspended sentence. You won't have to serve that as long as you're successful on a 6-month non-reporting probation.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you don't have to see a probation officer, but you have to do 2 things. First, don't violate any laws during the 6-month period. And second, get the 158 paid. And when do you want to do that?
30 days would suffice
Okay.
for me, Your Honor.
All right, 30 days to pay. And as you've heard me tell others, if you don't have it paid, you'll get your license suspended and the collection agent will be out. And you could potentially get your jail sentence suspended and serve that time. So
Yes,
pay
ma'am.
that to the clerk of the district court in Butler County.
Yes, can I pay online as the previous mentioned, BUCOKS?
No, what is it, Miss Ashley? What's the website?
KScourts.com.
See, it's been so long, I totally forgot. Okay, so it's paykscourts.com.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
And you will need your case number, which is BU for Butler, BU 2023. That's the year 2023. TR for traffic, and then 001911.
And you
Yes,
will
Your
have
Honor.
to put dashes in between each one of those.
Thank
So it's
you.
BU dash 2023 dash.
TR dash.
Thank you.
All right, I think that covers it. Is there anything else, Mr. Regier?
Not on this matter, Your Honor.
Thank you. Then, Ms. Riley, you are excused at this time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Miranda Glover,
Yes, I'm right here.
we're on the record in 2023 TR 1470, State of Kansas versus Miranda Lee Glover. Jared Regier for the state. The defendant appears in person and pro se. Ms. Glover, your first appearance was July 12th of 23, but you failed to appear. You then appeared October 18th, 23, and told me you were going to apply for diversion. And we set the matter over to today. Did you apply for diversion?
Oh, no, I need it to be set over. Or can I have a little bit more time?
No, your ticket goes back to February 14th, almost a year now. So we do need to get it resolved.
I couldn't pay it tomorrow, if that's okay.
Is that the
Tomorrow.
application? You need money for the application or for the contract? Have you been
It's
approved?
for application. No, I haven't turned it in yet.
How much more time you think you need? Because you've got to turn in the application, you've got to be approved, and then they're going to send your contract, and they're going to probably want some more money. So how much time do you think you're going to need?
Okay, I can do the $50 tomorrow for sure, because it said $50 on the application fee. So I'll pay that for sure tomorrow. And then I'll see if I get approved. So they can still not approve me, even if I pay it.
Right, they still have to approve you. But okay, so Ashley, did you say you had like some date clear out May 1st or something?
That's our next for sure open date.
All right, I'm gonna give you to May 1st, Miss Glover, if that's what you want.
Okay.
Have it diverted and you won't have to come see me, but if you don't have everything done and they don't tell you, then you need to be here May 1st at 9 a.m.
Okay.
All right, will that probably give you enough time to round up all the money you need?
Oh, yes, it will.
Okay, all right. I'll continue your bond with the condition that you reappear May 1st at 9 a.m. unless the county attorney tells you otherwise.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Regier, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
And we'll be in recess, and Miss Glover is excused. And there is someone that I don't know your name. It just says Motorola Moto G Play. What's your name, please? Could you start your audio? Click on that little red microphone icon. And what is
working now?
I can hear
Gail Holtzclaw.
one more time.
Gail Holtz. Hold on a second.
Gail, is it Laree?
I'm sorry?
Is it Gail Laree Holtzclaw?
Yes.
Very well. We're on the record in 2023 TR 159, State of Kansas versus Gail Laree Holtzclaw, with Jared Regier for the state and the defendant in person and pro se. Ms. Holtzclaw, you are here for first appearance, which had been set July 19th to 23. For some reason, you failed to appear, so 500 OR bond was issued, and you're here today apparently on that bond. So we'll go over your charges. First of all, in count one, the state is alleging that on or about February 17th, 2023, you failed to stop at a yield or stop sign. That is a traffic infraction. It does not carry any jail time, but if you were to be convicted, you would have a scheduled fine of $75 plus $108 in court costs. In count two, you're accused of operating a motor vehicle on February 17th of 2023 without lawful registration. That is an unclassified misdemeanor under Kansas law. If convicted, the maximum penalty would be a $2,500 fine, and you could have a jail sentence from 30 days up to 6 months, although probation is certainly an option, and those are the extremes. Depending on your history, if any, you might be eligible for the county attorney's diversion program, whereby you would pay your fines and costs and a diversion fee and show them that you have valid registration now, and they would dismiss the charges against you and keep them off your record. But if you don't want to go through diversion for whatever reason, then you're able to plead not guilty and set it for trial at a later date. Or you could plead guilty, admitting the charges, and proceed with sentencing. Or you could plead no contest, neither admitting nor denying, but you'd still be found guilty and proceed with sentencing. Do you know how you want to proceed at this time, Ms. Holtzclaw?
Okay, so here's the situation. I was up there working in El Dorado at the time of this incident. I had the car for my vehicle for several months, but the torque converter had went out and the car was not working. It was $2,000 to get the truck registered. I work out on the road, finally got the car up and running and went to El Dorado to work at Sinclair. I've never had a speeding ticket or anything my whole entire life. I am 44 years old and I have a perfect driving record. I had when I called to find out when my court date was up there, I had sent my proof of registration, which I did not have at the time, but it had a week later because I was able to pay for it. And I sent that to you guys, and it was supposed to be dismissed. Several months later, after I get home, I get a piece of mail saying that I had court. And so I call up there and they're like, well, at the time, we realize now at the time you didn't have registration. But like where I live in Arkansas, that would have been dismissed. So I was just assuming that that's what, that made sense to me because that's what they do here. As long as you got it before you go to court, it's dismissed, maybe a court cost. Anyhow, I then tried to show up at your guys' Zoom court. I live out in the country, about 10 miles outside of town. I have Wi-Fi out here now, so I'm able to talk to you guys. But I sat there and I understand or whatever. Anyhow, I got a warrant from there. And I went to a job and I finally was able to get back to work. Been having health issues. I'll go into that in a minute. And the second day of work at a union job at TVA, which would have been everything, I got kicked out because of this stuff up there. So I ended up losing the job and had to drive 8 hours up there to turn myself in for a traffic violation. And I've never had a traffic violation. I lost my job at the TVA because of this. They wouldn't let me back in, but turned myself in, made this date right here that I have now. I'm not working, by the way. I'm not working. I just got diagnosed with kidney cancer. So about to lose my truck anyways. This has caused me a lot of problems over something that was supposed to be dismissed. I gave you guys proof of my registration at the time. I had insurance. Anyhow, I don't want probation. Court cost fees. If I have to get a lawyer, I'm not working. I have to have my kidneys removed or one of my kidneys removed. Anyhow, I've got a lot going on. This is causing me to lose my job. I had to drive there 8 hours back to lose my job anyways because of a traffic violation that was supposed to be dismissed. So I don't know how to proceed from there, but this has been a real big headache and has caused me a lot of problems. I had already gave you guys proof that I had it the following week after it happened.
Okay. Well, you've certainly had a tough go of things, that's for sure. But you didn't mention the failure to yield at a stop or yield sign. What do you want to do with that? Let's start there.
I mean, it was dark. There was a big truck in front of me. I was on my way to work at Sinclair. It was early in the morning and dark, and the car in front of me. And again, I was new, just got there. The road was set up. Again, I'm 44 years old and I've never had a speeding ticket, zero traffic violations. There was some sort of like, I don't know, I would think it was like probably one of those trucks that clean toilets out that was in front of me. And I don't know how, I guess I don't know. Apparently
Okay.
there was a stop sign there, but it was just, I didn't see at the time.
Oh my God.
Well, let's start over.
Get Darren
You
and
heard me
straighten it
talking
out.
about the diversion. Are you interested in that? Not trying to make any persuasion or discouragement, just it's strictly your call. Do you want to look into that?
The easiest way to get this done, again, I'm not working. I would prefer not to have anything on my record since I have nothing on my record.
Well, that could keep it from being on your record. They would dismiss the charges if you qualify and if you do what you're supposed to. So do you want some time to look into that? I can give you the online site where you can look at it and see if you're interested in applying. Do you want to do that?
What is the online site?
Mr. Aguirre, it's bucoks.com.
buclks.com.
Let's start over. Mr. Aguirre, why don't you tell her what it is, please?
Your Honor, my understanding is that information pertaining to the diversion can be found at the website www.bucoks.com.
You search for the www, of course.
COAS.
No, there's no way, but it's BU for the Camp Butler,
Oh,
BU, CO for county, and then KS for Kansas.
Okay, it's for Kansas. Okay.
KS for Kansas. And is it .com as opposed to .org, Mr. Aguirre?
Your Honor, my understanding it is a .com web address.
Okay. So go to that and look for the Butler County
understanding.
Attorney's diversion.
Okay.
It's my understanding that if you read through it and you decide you want to apply, the application process can be done online, which would be good for you since I think you said you're in Arkansas. And then they get your application online and they'll run your record. And when they see how good it is, from what you're telling me, they'll let you know if you're approved. And then they'll send you a contract. And you'll sign the contract and send that back with the fee. And then as long as you do what you agree to, they'll dismiss the charges and keep them off your record. So is that what you want to start out with and see how that goes?
Yeah, that's fine. How long do I have to do this? I have to have surgery soon.
Well,
sorry, I got out yesterday that I had cancer on Monday.
That's tough. That really is. All right, let's set this over to May 1st. May 1st at 9 a.m. reappear by Zoom. However, I really don't want to see you back here. I'm hoping you'll get diversion if that's what you want. You should be able to take care of all of it and not have to come back to court. But make sure you pay attention to the dates on the application and look for that contract and just get it back. Okay?
Wait, I'll take care of that right now after this. I'll take care of it.
Okay. And I'll continue the bond that you've posted with the condition that you reappear May 1st at 9 a.m. Mr. Regier, anything further?
Not for me, Your Honor.
Ms. Holtzclaw, anything further?
No, that's all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. You're excused at this time.
Thank you.
Now, Deputy, why do you have someone sitting there with you?
This is Mr. Thomas Thomas.
Thomas?
Yeah, he came in a little later than.
Okay. I have a Thomas A. Thomas and a Thomas Andrew Thomas. Would you be one and the same, sir?
So,
Excuse me?
I would think so.
You're on two cases today?
I don't know, maybe.
Well, I have will be on the record in 2022, TR 4129, State of Kansas versus Thomas A. Thomas for operating a vehicle without registration, November 28th, 2022. And we're also on the record in 2024, TR 226, State of Kansas versus Thomas Andrew Thomas. That is for a Thomas Andrew Thomas accused of driving while suspended and operating a vehicle without insurance, October 21st, 2023. Jared Regier appears in both cases for the state. And sir, do you believe you're the same person as Thomas A. Thomas in 22 TR 4129, as well as Thomas Andrew Thomas in 24 TR 226?
I'm guilty as charged.
Okay. In the 22 case, that is the one of operating a vehicle without registration or expired tag. Your first appearance on that was March 29th of 23. You were going to apply for diversion, but 9/27, when you were here, we were told you didn't qualify. You'd like to know why, and so we gave some time to figure that out with the county attorney. You were here October 11th of 2023, but you failed to appear at that time. So how do you want to resolve this registration or tag charge, sir?
I just need to find out what I need to pay and just pay it.
All right, do you want to have an attorney or do you want to waive your right to attorney today?
Waive my rights.
Okay. And let's look at that other one again, the 2224 TR 226. Driving while suspended and operating without insurance. Now, those two charges are each B misdemeanors. Each has a possible sentence of up to 6 months in jail. The driving while suspended has a fine that must be at least $100 up to $1,000. And the insurance has a fine that must be at least $300 up to $1,000.
Get an attorney.
Now, you told me on that one, you'd represent yourself, but since you're looking at 2B misdemeanors, do you want to talk to an attorney before you commit to a plea?
I don't know what it did he could do to me. I don't know. I don't.
You
I
can
don't
help a
know
lot.
either, but I can sure give you time to hire an attorney, and if you cannot afford to hire an attorney, you can apply for court appointed and see if you qualify.
That's all right. This is get this done with and over with, and I like get be done with it.
So you're wanting to waive your right to attorney in each case?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
And you understand that you can hire an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, you can apply to see if you qualify for court appointed,
Yes, ma'am.
knowing that you still wish to waive your rights and represent yourself?
Oh, he can do me any good.
So you do wish to waive your rights? Is anyone making you waive your rights to an attorney by any kind of threats or promises? Okay, then I will have the record reflect that you've waived your rights, and if the deputy has a form there for you to sign. Is that what you just signed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Did he sign one in each case?
Yeah, we need one in each case, please. Now, Mr. Thomas in 22 TR 4129, how do you plead to operating a motor vehicle without registration or expired tag? I'm sorry?
Guilty as charged.
Okay, is anyone making you enter this plea of guilty today by threat or promise?
No, ma'am. Your Honor.
And do you understand that if you continue with your guilty plea, you will be found guilty and you will not be able to appeal your conviction,
Yes, ma'am.
and that there will not be a trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Okay,
Tom.
and were you on November 28th of 2022 driving in Butler County without a tag or without a lawful tag?
Yes, ma'am, was.
The officer says that it was on US 77 in Butler County. Do you agree with that?
It was on right out here by Sunny Stop. If that's called I wouldn't be called 77.
I wouldn't call that 77 either. Now, this is the one back in November.
Oh, yes, it was. It was on 77. Yes.
Okay, now is that 77 south of El Dorado or south of?
No, it was right up there by the high school,
Which high school?
Eldred High School.
Okay, that's in Butler County. And you agree that it was November 28th or 9th in 2022?
Yeah, it had to have been around that time period, probably.
Somewhere around 7:10 p.m.
Yeah, probably.
And were you
I
driving?
can't remember all the exact
Yeah,
date.
it's been a while. Were you driving a 98 Dodge
Yes, ma'am.
and the tag was expired? Is that right?
Yes.
All right, I will find you guilty of that charge in that case. And then let's look at the other one. That's the more recent one. How do you plead to count one, driving while suspended
Guilty.
and driving without liability insurance?
Guilty.
And were you driving in Butler County on October 21st, 2023?
Yes.
And you told me you were out at Sunny Stop out there?
Yes, where I got pulled over at. Yes.
Okay, so you were driving through Central and El Dorado?
I was coming from the other direction.
Off of
Going
77. That's where you cut. Let's see.
So all the time I've been pulled over.
What do they call that road that wraps around there? Is that what you're talking about? You come off of 77. Mr. Regier, what do you show us as where he was?
One moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, pursuant to the affidavit in the 2024 case, paragraph 5 would appear to list two locations, both within both at El Dorado locations.
Okay, so you were driving a truck that you pulled onto US 54 from East River Road in El Dorado. Does that sound right?
I pulled on the road out there by the, a Showboats bar or whatever grill
Way out there by the prison? Okay,
town.
yeah, that'd be 54. And at the time, was your license suspended?
Yes, ma'am.
And did the vehicle you're operating have any insurance on it at the time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then is anyone making you plead guilty to any of these charges by threats or promises?
Were you drunk as Cooter Brown?
I'm sorry?
No.
You understand you're giving up your right to trial and will be found guilty if I accept this plea?
Yes.
And that's what you want to do today?
Yes.
Then I will accept your pleas and find you guilty in both of these counts.
Well played,
So,
Thomas.
Mr.
Thomas.
Regier, recommendations for sentencing in both cases?
Yes, Your Honor, if the court will permit me to address each one individually.
Please.
Your Honor, in the 22 case, that is the case where, as I understand it, pursuant to the ticket involves the expired tag charge. The state would be recommending a $50 fine with $108 in court costs, a 30-day suspended sentence with 12 months of non-reporting probation. In the 2024 case, the case involving pursuant to the information, the driving while suspended, and the no proof of insurance charge, the state would be recommending for count one a $100 fine, $108 in court costs, 120 days underlying sentence, and 12 months of non-reporting probation. For count two, the state would recommend a $300 fine, 120 days underlying concurrent, and 12 months of non-reporting probation. The state does not have any objection to the cases running concurrent to each other, and I will, of course, defer to the court as to any issues of repayment in both those matters.
Okay, Mr. Thomas, is there anything you'd like to say before I pronounce your sentence? You don't have to, but you're welcome to if you wish.
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay. Then in 22 TR 4129, I will impose a $50 fine plus 108 court costs. Let me say that again. A $50 fine and $108 in court costs. I will order a 30-day suspended sentence with 12 months non-reporting probation. And 24 TR 226, your count one fine will be $100 and your count two will be $300. Those are the minimum fines in each of those counts required by law. And court costs of 108 with a 120-day sentence, which will run concurrently with the 30-day sentence in the first case. On count two, a 120-day sentence that will run concurrently with the sentence in count one, as well as the 30 days in the first case. On each of these cases, you will be granted 12 months non-reporting probation. You will not have to see a probation officer, but if you do not want to serve this controlling jail sentence, you do need to do a couple of things. First, for the next year, do not violate any laws.
Okay.
Secondly, pay your fines and costs. In the first case, they total $158. In the second case, they total $508 for a total of $666. How much time do you need to pay the total of $666?
least 60 days. Kind of get,
Sure. Okay, well, that's no problem. Do you think on that first case, that 158, could you pay that in 30, do you think? Or do you
30
need
days,
158 on the first case?
in 30 days, you said?
Yes, could you do
Yes,
that?
yes, yes,
All
ma'am.
right, so we will order in 22 TR 4129 that will be paid within 30 days. And you're sure that'll give you enough time on that one?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, don't forget. So make a note that that's the one, make sure you pay it on the right case, 22 TR 4129. Now, on that next case, as I said, you owe 508. So can you get, if I give you another 60 days after that, do you think that you could get that paid? 30 days for the first one?
30 days. So you say 90 days total is what you're more or less saying?
Yes, yes, but I want you to pay that first one within 30, and then I'll give you another 60 to get the other one paid.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay.
You said without getting in any more trouble, the bad thing is I got a couple El Dorado court deals already in progress.
Okay, here's how we'll approach it. If it's something that happened before today, I won't hold that against you,
Oh, Tom.
even if you get convicted on it. But if you go out tomorrow, or if you go out 10 minutes from now and violate the law, then that could be held against you. But thank you for being candid and bringing that up. All right, so on 24 TR 226, you have 90 days to pay in full.
Yeah.
All right, anything else we need to address on these, Mr.
Dollar to that or something, get it from 6666.
Yeah, I saw that when I wrote that down. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Regier, I trust there's nothing further.
He's a religious man.
One moment, Your Honor, please.
Sure.
Hey, now he's back to hamming it up with the with the Sally Port guy.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Then this gentleman is excused. You may go, sir. Thank you.
What's going on there?
All right, we've got some failures to appear, more of them than I'd like to see, certainly. We'll be on the record. Is Hillman the first one the rest of you have that failed to appear? Just starting
That's
out.
what I show.
Okay.
All right, there you have it. I was going to stick it out, but I'm not going to do the failures to appear where they're not there. I don't know what's going on, but Jay Regier was buffering all day today. He might have had a couple last night. Who knows? Who knows? Pure speculation on my part. I personally was not drinking with him. I have no knowledge of such a thing. I have completely made that up. I have no idea. All right. Thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate it. I just kind of missed Judge Webster and Regier. We got a nice dose of them today. Lots of fun. Thank you all. I that still blows me away. I still can't believe what we got there. Thank you all. I guess that's it. I really should check in with Yesenia and do some actual work now. Thanks for coming out. I'll see y'all soon.